Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this webinar about i-Vertix IT monitoring and log management solutions. My name is Paolo Ferrari. I am the i-Vertix sales director, and I will be providing the narrative for the following slides. The agenda today is as follows. First of all, a few words about i-Vertix. Then we will see a quick introduction about IT monitoring and log management solutions. Then some information on their licensing and pricing, a quick recap of key technical and selling points, a couple of success stories, and finally a quick overview of the i-Vertix partner program, and in the end we can have a question and answers session. i-Vertix is a young Italian company headquartered in Bolzano in South Tyrol, the very north of Italy. We are specialized in IT monitoring and log management solutions for MSPs and enterprises. Most of us have more than 20 years of experience in the field. Our goal is to deliver flexible solutions that reduce the complexity of IT monitoring, improving user experience and providing a lean, efficient, and also cost-effective way of monitoring any IT systems and environments. Our offering is made up of three separate solutions: IT monitoring, log management, and IT asset inventory management. Today we are going to see IT monitoring and log management, and we save IT asset management for another day. So let's start from IT monitoring. Key features. First of all, the completeness of monitoring capabilities. We will see that IT monitoring is an all-in-one solution that can natively monitor hundreds of devices, applications, databases, etc. Second, it is purpose-built for MSPs and enterprises, so it has a distributed architecture, it's extremely scalable, multi-tenant, etc. Then it integrates with many third-party solutions, ITSM, service desk, trouble ticketing, but also CMDB, observability, and automation tools. It has a very intuitive, easy to use, highly performing graphical user interface. It comes with the most flexible licensing on the market. Customer can choose. It can be per device with unlimited monitors or per monitor, per sensor. And because of all of this, it provides a very fast return on investment. This is what I call our pie. IT monitoring is really an all-in-one solution, and this is just a little excerpt of some of the logos of the vendors that we can natively monitor. So starting from the bottom, network infrastructure devices, switches, routers, firewalls, wireless access points and controllers, but also storage systems, UPS, and of course servers. Servers running any operating systems, virtual environment, VMware, Hyper-V, etc., but also containers, Dockers, Nutanix, Kubernetes. We natively monitor more than 15 relational and non-relational databases and many tens of applications, backup applications, web servers, ERP, different application servers. We also monitor cloud environments, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, and then Google Workspace, Office 365, and other cloud systems and environments. And we can also perform synthetic user monitoring, so we can configure our IT monitoring so that it periodically performs application transaction and checks that they succeed, how long they take, if they fail, where they fail, and why. As we said, IT monitoring architecture is purpose-built for MSPs and enterprises, so it is natively distributed and multi-tenant. It is made up of two components: the smart pollers that perform discovery, monitoring, and alerting, and push the monitoring data to the central manager. That is the brain of the solution. It is where you do the configuration of the whole environment, and it is the component that interacts with the unique database and makes the graphical user interface available. Because of this architecture, the solution is extremely scalable, up to tens of thousands of devices, and more than 500,000 monitors can be monitored by a single instance. The smart pollers can be installed at remote sites, so at customer site, or close to the central manager at the network operations center or the data center, and they can monitor devices locally or remotely. The smart pollers can be virtual appliance or also hardware appliance. These are the hardware appliance models currently available. Some of them can be equipped with a 4G radio module so that to have an out-of-band communication media available that can be used, for example, to reconnect to the central manager in case the communication is lost, to send alerts, etc. We are releasing also a rackable version soon. So let's see how the system works. We do the configuration on the unique central manager installed at the network operations center or data center, and then from it we simply push the configuration to the smart pollers. The pollers, as the name says, do the polling. So they collect the status parameters and performance metrics from the device. Pollers are smart because they are able to work independently of the central manager. So even if the connectivity between the data center and the remote site is lost, the poller goes on working autonomously. And the poller not only goes on polling devices, but it is smart because it's also able, in case it detects a status change or a performance threshold violation, to send alert notification itself. So this way it guarantees continuity of the monitoring and alerting activities and services, even in scenarios where the remote site is disconnected from the data center or the network operations center. Of course, you would need some sort of out-of-band communication media or a local technical contact that can be notified, but anyway, you can alert in any circumstances. Multiple discovery methods are available to quickly discover and start monitoring a new network, or in case of an MSP, to quickly onboard a new customer. So, first of all, the network topology discovery, which performs a layer 2 and 3 network discovery by reading LLDP, CDP, and many other layer 2 and layer 3 information. It automatically creates the network map showing how devices are interconnected to each other, and also it automatically configures monitoring dependencies between neighbor devices in order to get just a single meaningful alarm notification when a device goes down. We also have a powerful VMware discovery that can scan your VMware environment, detecting data centers, clusters, hosts, guests, data stores, NICs, etc., etc. We have the Cisco Meraki discovery to discover the Meraki environment using the Meraki API token. And of course, we also have traditional discovery methodologies like network scan, subnet scan, IP address or IP address range scan, or host file discovery. This is what we call the plugin store. There's actually nothing to buy here. It is just a huge online archive of monitoring profiles. There are more than 600 sets of status parameters and performance metrics to monitor the health and the performance of network devices, applications, databases, storage systems, cloud systems, virtual environments, servers running any operating systems, routing protocols, video cameras, etc., etc. Downloading and installing a monitoring profile is super easy. You just have to click on the plus and it will be immediately available in the central manager, ready to be pushed to the smart pollers. Checking what is included into a monitoring profile is very easy as well. Just click on the eye and the information window opens, showing which device family, application the profile applies to, which technology will be used. It can be SNMP, Windows Remote Management, SSH, REST API, etc. And you will also see the list of monitors or monitor categories, as some of these are actually categories like environment, that includes temperature sensors, fan status, power supply status, etc., or interfaces, which includes all the performance metrics related to interfaces, traffic, errors, CRC, collisions, etc., etc. Here is the example about Windows systems. We can monitor Windows via SNMP, which of course is deprecated. We also have agents available if you don't want to grant access permissions to the monitoring system, or for any reasons you prefer to use an agent. Otherwise, we can use WS management, so Windows Remote Management, that essentially collects in agentless mode the same health parameters and performance metrics that you can collect with an agent. And once the system has discovered your environment, it automatically applies the monitoring profiles that we downloaded from the plugin store. And then you can see what's happening across your IT environment in multiple pre-configured dashboards. And of course, you can customize your own ones. This is just a sample one about the monitors, so the services, but you can filter here and you can see this consolidated real-time alarm scrolling panel, for example, per poller or per host group. It can be static or dynamic, or per customer if you are an MSP. And you have summaries available to see summaries about the hosts, so the devices, or the services, so the monitors, the sensors, and you can easily drill down. And the navigation is very intuitive and easy. You maintain the context that you are viewing. Wherever you click, it opens a window that tells you what this parameter is, the metric, how it is being collected, its current status, last check, next check, if there is some kind of flapping, and other information. And you can also see timelines, both in tabular and graphical ways. Then you can also export. And once the devices have been discovered, they can also be mapped. We have different types of maps available. This is just an example of a static one, where I use a background image and I put devices on top of it. We can use an image, a Visio drawing, whatever we prefer. An important thing to note here is that we can put on the map the devices, but we can also directly expose on the map their specific monitors, the device components. So for example, if we look at the SQL Server at the bottom of the map, we can see the device as a whole, but also its own monitors, its specific components. So we can see at a glance, for example, that disk C is in warning status because of the orange dot, and for example that the Microsoft SQL Backup age parameter is in faulty status. And we can in addition also expose performance metrics, performance data, using many available widgets, speedometers, thermometers, even timelines, and also a very useful traffic arrows that show the interface traffic values. We can create a hierarchy of maps and jump from a map into another. So I can create my campus map, building map, floor map, rack map, etc., and jump from a map to another. And we also get informative pop-ups when we click on an item in the map. This one instead is a dynamic geographical map. We natively integrate with OpenStreetMap, so you can just configure device coordinates in your devices and they will be automatically mapped on a dynamic geographical map that you can further enrich, for example, with performance indicators. And now we have a series of random examples of monitoring profiles just to show the different capabilities of the solution and examples of different technologies that we use to monitor different network devices, application databases, etc. So this is the Oracle one with the list of health and performance data that are being collected and monitored by default. So we can see lots of interesting things here, like the table space usage for all the table spaces, the data cache hit ratio, invalid objects, long queries, etc., etc. And all of these, of course, can be made available on the dashboards in both graphical and tabular format. Here is the VMware one. We just require a user, a read-only user, on the VMware environment, and we can natively monitor all the vMotion operation, the data store latency, usage, I/O, IOPS, etc., together with snapshots, license usage, host alarms. And again, tabular and graphical information are available. This one is the Veeam Backup Monitor. It currently uses an agent. I would say that 97-98% of our monitoring profiles are agentless. This is just one of the very few that relies on an agent. And this is just because the agent-based collection is more detailed and accurate than the agentless one. And through the agent, we can monitor in details the backup job status, tape job status, license usage and expiration, etc., etc. And of course, as soon as the monitoring starts, we can see all the metrics in tabular and graphical representations. These are other lists of plugins, so monitoring profiles that we have natively available for SAP rather than either AWS or Azure. And as you can see, the monitoring is super detailed. Here are a couple of the AWS ones, EC2 Instance Monitoring and AWS RDS Relational Database Service Monitoring, with just some examples of monitored objects and metrics, and of course the related status information and timelines showing all the metrics that we collect. And finally, some examples of virtualization and container monitors. Most of these are, of course, collected using REST APIs. So we monitor VMware and Hyper-V, of course, but also Citrix, Nutanix, SimpliVity, Kubernetes, Dockers. And as I said, we leverage their APIs to collect status and performance information. Multiple notification mechanisms are available. Alarm notification can be sent via mail and SMS, of course, but also via PagerDuty, Slack, Teams, Telegram, etc. And we can integrate with ITSM service desk solutions, escalation management ones, etc. We are going to see that in the next slide. We provide granular role-based access control in addition, of course, to multi-tenancy. So we have access control lists to grant or deny permission in terms of access to resources, so hosts or services, but also menus, options, actions, configuration capabilities, etc. Authentication can be local or via Active Directory, and we can also leverage OpenID to have multi-factor authentication, single sign-on, etc. Many integration with third-party systems are available. In particular, we integrate with many ITSM service desk tools like ServiceNow, Sysaid, Jira, Ivanti to automatically open, update, and close tickets when we detect an issue in the IT environment. We integrate also with notification and escalation tools like Opgenie, PagerDuty. We can integrate with SIEM and log management solutions, with observability tools, and also with automation tools to have them run even complex automated corrective actions to fix the issues that we detected. And of course, we are always happy to create a new custom integration with third-party solutions requested by our partners and customers. Finally, we have the network configuration backup add-on. This is an optional module fully integrated into the IT monitoring console. It performs the automatic backup of network device configuration files. It archives the different versions, compares them, shows the differences between versions at a glance, and archives them in a Git repository. Please note this is just a backup tool. It doesn't do any restore of configuration files. It is up to the user to restore an archived configuration file on a network device. Now let's take a look at the licensing and pricing criteria. So IT monitoring, as we said, is an all-in-one solution that includes all the monitoring capabilities that we have seen so far. It supports an unlimited number of users. The licensing is essentially per number of monitored hosts, so devices, and per number of smart pollers that have been deployed across the IT environment. A device can have an unlimited number of interfaces, monitors, sensors. A single smart poller typically can monitor around 10,000 monitors. The exact number, of course, depends on multiple factors, mainly polling interval, number, and type of monitors. We also have two add-ons, the layer 2 and 3 network topology discovery and mapping, which is included in tiers equal or bigger than 1,000 hosts. In smaller ones, it's available as an optional module. And we also have the network configuration backup that is always an add-on, an optional module. As we said before, licensing can also be per service, per sensor, if customers prefers it. So if a customer wants, she can choose this model. A typical example is a customer with a huge amount of devices that have only to be pinged. In this case, they can choose the per service, per monitor license and save a lot of money on the license. Different editions are available for resales to end customers. We have both the perpetual and the subscription option. The perpetual is a one-time license purchase with yearly maintenance support service. The first year is always included. The subscription is a yearly prepaid subscription that, of course, always includes support and updates. We also have a cloud software as a service edition. Typically, it's okay for small or very small customers. This is a pure pay-per-use edition, and it is licensed at the moment per number of services, so sensors, monitors, and smart pollers. And then we have the MSP pay-per-use edition for our MSP partners that provides many benefits. So there are no tiers here. There are no wasted licenses. It's a pure pay-per-use model. There are no upfront costs, and the price, so the monthly fee, is based on the exact number of monitored hosts and smart pollers that have been deployed across all the customers. A very important thing to note here is that the monthly fee includes also all the ordinary maintenance of the entire platform. So we do the periodic installation of updates, both new minor and major versions, patches, and even new monitoring profile packs. So this way the MSP can focus on its own service, doesn't have to worry about the monitoring platform because it will always be maintained, updated, reviewed, and validated by our engineers. Because of this, a minimum of 1,000 monitored devices is required for the MSP to use this edition. Let's now take a quick look at i-Vertix log management solution. Key features and capabilities that I like to highlight here are, first of all, the completeness of the solution. We can natively manage logs coming from tens different types of log sources in many different formats, plus custom ones. The solution has a high performance, is extremely scalable. It can provide additional capabilities like log classification, geolocalization, and generally speaking, log enrichment. One of the classification, for example, is per GDPR and other data protection regulations. And we have an extremely cost-effective licensing, which is not related to log sources, volumes, and rates. We are going to see that in the next slides. And also our log management comes with many tens pre-configured dashboards to visualize and analyze logs in an extremely easy way. We natively support syslogs and Windows events, of course, but also file auditing logs, like the ones coming from Office 365, web server auditing logs, mail server logs, and also NetFlow traffic flow records, the whole NetFlow family. So you can also perform network traffic analysis with our log management. And again, we support common event format logs coming from typically firewalls like Palo Alto, FortiGate, and other ones. And we can also support custom log sources by configuring new parsing rules. The logs collected are also signed, so we guarantee their integrity by using certificates, and we also guarantee the integrity of their timestamps through a timestamp authority. Once you have started collecting, you can visualize and analyze the logs in real time thanks to many tens pre-configured dashboards, and of course you can create your custom ones. And a very important feature here is the a posteriori analysis. Typically logs tend to grow, and at some point you have to implement some kind of archival strategy. So typically you keep a certain amount of logs in the database. In our case, it's Elastic, and you archive older ones on some kind of cheap storage, like an S3 or something like that. In case you need to review old logs, you can simply re-import them and do a posteriori analysis, so you are not forced to keep all the logs into the database. The architecture is similar to the IT monitoring one. It's distributed, multi-tenant, and made up of two components, log collectors and data nodes. The log collectors are, as the name says, the components that do the log collection, parsing, normalization, archival, etc., while the data nodes instead are the central collectors and aggregators of the logs, and they are also the component that provides the graphical user interface. The data nodes can be clustered. You would need 3 data nodes at least, and this way the solution can scale and support huge amounts of log sources and huge volumes and rates of logs. Of course, the communication between the log collectors and the data nodes is secure, encrypted. The log collectors compress the logs and push them to the data node or multiple ones in case of high availability cluster. Once you have started collecting the logs, you can visualize and analyze them through the dashboards. They are pre-configured and you can create custom ones. The user interface is very intuitive. All of the dashboards are consistent. They have all the same format, the same structure, and the dashboard can also help with the identification of security issues, potential problems, etc. So we are going to see that in the next slides. This is the authentication analysis dashboard that shows all the events that have to do with log on, log off, fail log on across the IT environment. They are all normalized and displayed in a consistent way. So being them on different Windows systems, Linux systems, IBM iSeries systems, from systems that are on premises or in cloud, like Office 365, or even authentications in the command line interface of network devices, all of those events are normalized and displayed in a consistent way. This one instead is an example of traffic analysis dashboard based on traffic flow technologies. And here we see also an example of enrichment that we do. We do geolocalization of public IP addresses, and we also do periodic checks of public knowledge bases that report dangerous IP addresses, domains, etc. So we can get alerted in case any malicious IP domain is detected into the logs. This dashboard instead is about log classification per data privacy regulation. So we can automatically classify Windows events and syslog messages per data privacy regulation. We can do that for GDPR, PCI DSS, and the other ones that are listed in the slide. We automatically classify the logs, so regulation, article, chapter, paragraph, they are all automatically classified, and this can be extremely helpful to prove that the logs have been treated in compliance with such regulations, and we once again periodically check public knowledge bases like the MITRE ATT&CK to detect any potentially dangerous malicious logs or early indicators of potential issues and attacks. Here we can see various examples of dashboards showing how comprehensive i-Vertix log management is as we analyze a mix of logs coming from different IT security platforms, networking infrastructure devices, Microsoft Office 365, NetFlow-enabled devices, etc. So for example, here I have an EZ dashboard showing hosts, users, events classified by EZ, tabular reports, timelines, enrichment, geolocalization of all the public IP addresses detected into the logs. I can drill down into the firewall events that are further classified, and again with their timelines, top-end reports, tabular reports, mixed, for example, with the common event format coming from a FortiGate firewall that lets me analyze up to layer 7 the traffic that flows through the firewall itself, and Office 365 already classified per application with their timelines, top actions, and I can drill down into any aspects of my Office 365 here. Mixed, for example, with syslog management, syslogs coming from, in this case, Cisco devices with their severity, etc. And we also do traffic analysis via traditional NetFlow, and we see the traffic that is flowing through such devices. And this one instead is an interesting example about SharePoint logs, showing how easy it is to drill down into any aspects of the logs to analyze them in detail. So I have my Office 365 generic overview dashboard here. I drill down into SharePoint. The system automatically, immediately re-renders the dashboard focusing on the specific aspect, item that I have clicked on. So now I see only SharePoint, and I can focus, for example, on top 10 users. Select the one who is responsible for most of the action, of the activities. And for example, I can check what he has been doing in the selected time period. For example, he has been modifying files, and let's see what they are. I can geolocalize him, see where he has been working from, and which specific files he has been manipulating in the selected time period. Here we see a graphical representation of the log sources that we natively support. Of course, we can support, as we said, also custom ones. A thing that I would like to highlight is that our solution is more than enough for the majority of the customers in terms of log management, but it can also be used by large enterprises or managed security service provider that are also using a SIEM, a security information and event management solution. In such a scenario, in fact, we can be extremely useful. We have customers and MSP partners that put our log management in the middle between the log sources and the SIEM itself to perform a cost-effective log aggregation, collection, parsing, normalization, enrichment to discard the background noise, the lower value events, and to send to the SIEM only the ones that require its powerful post-processing, like correlation, etc. And this way, because typically the SIEM is licensed per log volume or log rate, this way the return on investment on our solution is super fast. In fact, our log management comes with a very cost-effective licensing because we don't license per number of log sources, we don't license per event rate, and we don't license per log volume. We license per number of data nodes and log collectors that are being deployed across the IT environment. A data node comes with 2 log collectors included, and of course additional log collectors can be licensed separately. Understanding how many log collectors and data nodes are required is quite easy. We have a very simple solution sizing questionnaire that we can share, and once the partner or the customer has filled it in, we can recommend both the specification of the systems and the number of data nodes and log collectors. But because of our licensing, we are a lot cheaper than the competition in the vast majority of the scenarios. i-Vertix Log Management is available in 2 different editions, Standard and Platinum. The Platinum one, in addition to the features that we have seen so far, provides additional alerting and reporting, authentication via LDAP or Active Directory, single sign-on, encryption at rest, and also machine learning. The standard edition is available in both perpetual model and subscription model. Platinum edition is available only in subscription model. We also offer the MSP pay-per-use model. So similarly to the IT monitoring one, it offers a pure pay-per-use model with no tiers, no wasted licenses, no upfront costs, just a monthly fee based on the total number of data nodes and log collectors that are used by the MSP across all of its customers. And again, the monthly fee includes all of the ordinary maintenance of the whole solution. Installation of security patches, product updates, they are all performed periodically by our engineers, so the MSP doesn't have to worry about the solution, which is always maintained and updated by us, and they can focus on their own managed service provisioning. Let me just quickly summarize the key points, the advantages of our 2 solutions. IT monitoring key technical and selling points. A simple, clear, and extremely cost-effective all-in-one pricing. The most flexible licensing on the market, as we said. It can be per device with unlimited monitors or per monitor, per sensor, plus of course the smart pollers. Those intelligent pollers that guarantee continuity of monitoring activities and services, including alerting. A great completeness with more than 600 ready-to-use monitoring profiles to monitor anything. MSP-grade solution in terms of architecture, multi-tenancy, role-based access control, massive scalability, and fast customer onboarding. Also MSP-grade support that includes all the ordinary maintenance of the whole i-Vertix solution. Very flexible deployment options. Lots of integrations with third-party solutions, ITSM, CMDBs, automations, etc. Comprehensive REST API framework. We use REST APIs to monitor devices, equipment, application, etc. But we also have REST APIs to let other applications query our system and collect the data that we collected across the IT environment. And also we go beyond traditional IT monitoring. We offer powerful multi-platform synthetic user monitoring. Similarly, our log management comes with simple and cost-effective per data node and per log collector licensing and pricing. Great completeness with 30 plus log sources supported out of the box, plus support for custom ones. We have again an MSP grade solution with distributed architecture, multi-tenancy, role-based access control, scalability, and multiple deployment options, integration with third-party solution, our service, which includes the ordinary maintenance for the MSP edition, comprehensive REST API framework, and extra features, extra capabilities, log enrichment, geolocalization, log classification, etc., to help also with security, with data protection regulation compliance, etc. We have customers across multiple verticals. Let's just see a couple of success stories. The first one is about IT monitoring. It's a large government customer that provides digital services to around 5 million citizens in Italy. So they needed to proactively monitor their whole IT infrastructure, consolidate multiple systems that were in use. They have to constantly check the health and the performance of their online applications to guarantee the availability of the services to the citizens, and they wanted to rationalize the investments and also meet budget constraints. So they implemented our i-Vertix IT monitoring, installed on-prem in their data center with around 20 smart pollers, both virtual and also hardware appliances. They configured many tens of thousands monitors, including 500 synthetic user monitoring scenarios to test the health, the availability, and the performance of the online applications. And they got many benefits. They, of course, modernized their IT monitoring services. They consolidated 3 different platforms, rationalizing the IT investments, simplifying of course, platform maintenance and administration, increasing visibility, control, responsiveness, and reducing by 60% the average incident resolution time. The second case study is about log management. This is a security service provider offering log management as a service to its customers. Their challenges were, of course, offering log management service to more than 100 customers using a consolidated solution, easily onboarding new customers, of course, easily supporting new log sources and formats, being able to scale, so sustaining a growing log rate, growing log volumes, while meeting system specification, storage budget constraints, in order to offer a reasonably priced service to their customers. And they also needed to meet different requirements in terms of data retention, depending on the specific customer need and the specific type of logs that are to be archived. The solution that they are using is made up of a cluster of 5 data nodes installed at their security operations center and more than 130 log collectors spread across those around 110 customers. They are currently managing 8 billion log records, keeping 4 terabytes of data in Elastic and doing long-term archival on S3. The benefits that they got from the adoption of our solution are that they enriched their service offering. Thanks to the i-Vertix architecture, they can perform very fast new customer onboarding. They have simple platform maintenance and administration, mainly because of our ordinary maintenance service. And also we were very helpful to them, helping to quickly support new log sources and formats because we created parsing rules to help them meet their customers' requirements. Now just a few words about our partner program. We have a simple 3-level partnership program. We provide extensive pre-sales, sales and marketing support, performing both technical and sales enablement. We train partners so if they want, they can make money, not just reselling our solution, but also providing professional services on them. We provide our partners with not for resale licenses or cloud instances so they can practice. And of course, all of this is free of charge. And very important, in order to reward new partners for their initial efforts in adopting and learning our solutions, we provide very high discounts from the very beginning. This table shows the benefits associated with the 3 different partnership levels. All the partners, of course, get pre-sales, sales and technical training and enablement. We make not for a sales subscription or cloud instances available. The higher level partners are invited to attend our yearly partner summit, and they can influence the roadmap with their requests and suggestions. If you are interested in our solutions and want to check if a potential partnership would be beneficial to your company, please don't hesitate to contact us. Roberto Gambuti is our pre-sales manager, and of course you can also contact me. Thank you very much for your time and your attention. We will share the presentation and the link to the video recording soon. Thanks again and have a good rest of your day.